What's up, everybody? If you don't know, you should know. I'm Patrick Kirby, and this is That's My Lingo. This is the first episode of That's My Lingo, so without further ado, my first guest, the only person that could be my first guest, my father, Ricky Kirby. Are you ready for this?
I guess so.
Today, if you know my dad, you know him. He's all about music. Hence, this record sitting back here. It's the best one I could, put up here because there's way more than I could ever imagine having. He's a big time music fan, as I'm. I've learned everything from him pretty much. So, but I just want to let him, talk about how music, what about music has got you captivated like that and stuff like that. But anyways, I just want to know, what was the first album you bought? Like, well, how old was you? How old was you when you first?
Well, back in my day, you bought 45s.
Right.
That was singles, they'd have hits on the radio and you bought 45s. And of course, the first 45 I ever bought was the Beatles. The first album I ever bought, probably the Monkees. I think it was actually their second album.
So was that like a record?
Yeah.
The first record you bought was the Monkees.
33 and a third, an album. Yeah, it had like 4 or 5 songs on each side. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
How old was you?
Probably 10, 11,
10?
Whatever year. Yeah, whatever year. Probably 11.
Wow.
When the Monkees come out in the mid-60s. Yeah.
Yeah. You are going to be 66? 65?
Yeah.
66. You're 65.
Yeah. We'll be, yeah.
What?
December 66, yeah. Just a pup.
What? What?
Just a pup.
Yeah. So, being somebody of your age, obviously, you've been to a lot of concerts, especially when they were cheap,
Yeah.
Like, what, $10 a ticket?
$6.50, $7. Probably Rick Derringer tickets, Black Oak, Arkansas, at Louisville Gardens back in the day were probably $6.50, $7.50.
How many times were you at a Louisville Gardens? Or was it Louisville Jam? Yeah.
The Louisville Jam, they were 3 that I know about. First time Ted Nugent headlined. The second time Foreigner headlined. And the last time Bob Seger headlined. So I had 3 different, that's the 3 headliners. And, there were a lot of bands there, like REO was there, Steve Miller Band at the second one, and just, that was back in the late 70s and early 80s. A lot of good times, a lot of good music.
Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure you told me this back in the day, that you seen like, what, 85 different bands. You had them numbered out.
Oh, I'm sure I've seen that many and more.
Yeah, it's added, at least in the last 10 years.
I've seen like a lot of bands like Bob Seger, multiple times. And nothing, I've not seen anybody that many, but Seger and Nugent, Ted Nugent, seen both of them 8 times.
You've seen AC/DC quite a bit.
Yeah, 3. Seen them twice with Bon Scott and 3 times with Brian Johnson. It's been a while. Huh? Flick of the Switch tour. Many moon ago.
Wait, I thought Flick of the Switch was...
Come out in the early 80s.
So it was with Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
See, that's what's crazy. AC/DC is easily the greatest comeback story in music when it comes to lead singer dying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they have a lead singer, and he come back even probably more popular. Yeah.
And they had good songs, though, is what's crazy. Obviously, granted, they did sound like they were more so similar. Each one of them were more similar than what, like Bon Scott's era. The songs, I don't know. It's just weird because they sound so.
Both style. They're two. To me, this is just my opinion. They're two different styles to AC/DC. The Bon Scott and the Brian Johnson. Where, to me, the Bon Scott is more electric and powerful and more raw, and just where, they're still electric and it's still kind of powerful, but for some reason it's not a sharper edge to me. Bon Scott was just unbelievable, and both times, I was close, 10 or 12 foot from the stage. Both times I've seen AC/DC with Bon Scott as their vocalist.
But you said you saw Brian Johnson
3 times.
Three times.
Yeah.
Was you as close or like?
On one, but a couple of them no. I was kind of up.
And that's just one band. See, tell me who. Okay, one of the times you saw AC/DC, you saw them as an opening act.
Yeah. That was with Bon Scott was a vocalist. The AC/DC, I guess it was probably when they were first catching on over here. They were touring with Alice Cooper. So the first time I saw AC/DC, they opened for Alice Cooper. This was in Rupp-Around.
Today, I don't think you'd like. That would be the equivalent to like back in 2010 or 11, maybe 12. The Baby opening up for Lil Wayne. That'd be like he's a big time rapper now. But of course Lil Wayne is who he is.
Yeah, I know, he's a rapper. I'm familiar with his name, but I'm old school. I'm a heavy metal hard rocker.
I was wondering too. The last time you went to a concert, I'm trying to think. Was it Blackberry Smoke?
It was. That was 2017.
That's 2017.
Because the year before, Ted Nugent, saw him up in Pikeville. You remember?
Yeah. Well,
that
would have been the last one then. No. Ted Nugent would have been the last one. If you saw him 2 years later.
No, I saw him in 2016.
Ted Nugent. And you saw
Blackberry Smoke 2017.
Oh, okay. When did we see Jackal then? 2018?
No, I think, wasn't it, I'm not for sure. I can't tell you. Probably 2018, yeah. Bam, 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 all because you was there you've seen every one of the bands. You seen Blackberry Smoke?
I seen Blackberry Smoke, but I did not see Ted Nugent.
Oh, that's right.
And I seen Jackal.
Yeah.
Which was great. I loved it. That was good. That was a good show. I loved it.
Woke up this morning and found a tick.
What?
Woke up this morning and I found a tick on my chest.
Speaking of which, you were in a band.
Huh.
Yeah. like a kind of like a not necessarily definitely not a garage band because they didn't
That's
even
what
exist.
it was.
But they didn't. That term didn't exist.
Yeah, it did.
Garage band did,
Yeah.
even in the 70s.
Yeah.
So when
You gotta figure this was 1978. And me and your mom had been married a couple years, and David Owens was my cousin.
Yeah.
And him and Jeff Nicely and Tony Fredericks and
Big Dad Josh Martin's
uncle Tim Martin, yeah. Tim and Jeff Nicely played guitar, and David Owens played bass, and Tony Fredericks was the drummer, and I was a vocalist.
Yeah.
And
that's why I was saying that, because he's singing. That's why I was like, that garage band back in the day. Hey.
we probably knew maybe altogether 10 songs. So we would, we'd play them over and over.
That was your set list. I'm sure you knew more songs. They just couldn't play them. You know what I mean?
I didn't, yeah. And these guys, I mean, it'd last for a couple of years. I was probably about probably 4 or 5 years older than these guys. Probably about 5, and they all got to finding girls and stuff, and one by one getting married and stuff. And
you were already married, though.
Yeah, I was already married. We practiced at the house in a bedroom didn't have nothing in it.
What, Bustle Street?
Yeah, years. Yeah.
For those of you that don't know where Bustle Street is, it's a very tiny.
Right across
I wouldn't
from
say
Grab
a
and
tiny
Go.
house, but it was like a.
Back on and Grab and.
Maybe
right
if you had
the
one
street from
child.
Grab and Go.
One child.
Well, it was a 3-bedroom house.
Yeah. Well, it was a 3. Wow. That was.
The bad part: 3-bedroom, 1 bath.
That's the problem.
Had kitchen, dining room together, like in a living room, 1 bath, and 3 beds.
Coming from somebody that's looking for a house, I am looking for at least 1.5 bath. I don't know about you. Well, you done got a house with 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, 4 bedrooms. So, your last concert was 2018.
No,
17.
Yeah. Is it Blackberry Smoke?
Blackberry Smoke. I just want to. Blackberry Smoke is definitely a band that you would need to get. If you haven't out there.
Yeah, we need to get
Blackberry Smoke.
They've got a new album out. I forget what the name of it was. And I even shared one of the new songs on Facebook. Yeah, they're carrying on the Southern rock tradition for sure. And they can play anything. They're a real tight band. They can, if you've seen their videos on YouTube, they play anything. Black Sabbath, Allman Brothers, you name it. Check them out.
Yeah. They're, but they've been around since 2000. Did you know it?
I knew they were older band.
They, I want to know.
I want to know what love is.
Who is, all right, here's another question for you.
Yeah.
I've always wondered.
England.
What?
I'm acting crazy.
Who, what, how many bands have you ever, hung out with, seen, backstage after a concert or before a show or something like that? How many, and what'd you do?
Well, one time, the Kentucky Headhunters played at the Sundowner down Russell Springs, Kentucky. and got to hang out and talk with them after the show. And I had my free. I could go into the dressing room anytime. Wasn't no biggie. I was with a band called Straight Shot. The Headhunters were using their equipment, their PA system. So I got to meet them. That was back in the day when the Kentucky Headhunters were first getting popular. Another band I got to meet was over in Lexington at a club off of Athens Boonesboro exit. Was Foghat.
Yeah, I love this story.
Well, it was after they put on a show there at the club. I can't even think of the name of the nightclub. Big nightclub there. I'd seen Charlie Daniels there, and somebody else, can't remember who it was. But anyway, good bands. But anyway, after Foghat's show, me and Patty were walking back to our vehicle, and I seen the guys at Foghat standing around at the bus store. And of course, I'd brought some cassette tapes to get their autograph. Walked over there, and they were token down on a big doobie. And they looked up at me. I don't know if I started, but anyway, they looked at me and said, "You want a hit?" And I couldn't say no to Foghat, could I?
No, I wouldn't have at all.
So I partaked and thanked them and everything, and followed them back in, where I did get all their autographs. Lonesome Dave was not in the band at this time. It was oh Lord, the drummer. He's gonna hate me.
Are you friends with any of these people on Facebook? Like there's a lot of people that he knows and talks to and communicates with that are actually, at one point in time, they're famous.
Yeah, there are a lot of
still famous.
Well, there are a lot of down to earth rock and rollers out there. We're all humans.
Yeah.
And they appreciate somebody shouting out and giving them a good word. I'm sure, like Randy Bachman of Bachman Turner Overdrive thanked me, and commented that one of the songs that I'd shared, it had a little country sound to it. And then Glenn Hughes, I had Glenn Hughes, from Trapeze, and he played in Deep Purple, and he had been a solo artist, and was it with Dead Daisies? Is that who he's playing with now? But anyway, just a super bass player and a vocalist, great vocalist. Anything that Glenn Hughes does, to me, him and Sammy Hagar are two of the granddaddies of heavy metal or hard rock and roll, and they're still pumping out there. And
who do you think is the greatest vocalist of all time? I'll tell you. Let me go ahead and tell you mine, and then I'll get your feedback on it and see what you think about it. Because I know you don't believe the same way I do about it. I think it's a toss-up. Okay, the greatest vocalist in classic rock history, in my opinion, and I'm talking from the late 60s till, let's go with the 90s. Like 1990 would be the cutoff when it comes to like super vocalists for rock and roll, like classic. I would say, without question, the best overall, like high chords, low chords, and doing all the good stuff, would be Freddie Mercury. But my favorite, and probably, in my opinion, when it comes to like the real brash rock and roll style, would be Robert Plant. Who is your pick for the best vocalist out of all the music that you enjoy to listen to? Your favorite vocalist out there?
Well, without a doubt, it's Ian Gillan of Deep Purple. Just listen to Sweet Child in Time, Space Truckin'. Just listen, he can, back, and I'm not saying he's 70 some year old now. His vocals, of course, aren't going to be what they were when he was 40 or 50 even. But you listen to him back in his peak days, you listen to the high range he could squall, and just the greatest vocalist to me. They're in the type of rock I like, classic hard rock. I mean, it's Ian Gillian of Deep Purple.
In Child of Time.
Sweet Child.
Yeah. Was it? Wait.
Ooh. Yeah. That's him. And Space Truckin', you heard? Yeah, Space Truckin'. Come on. Let's go. Space Truckin', yeah, that's it. And of course, Smoke on the Water,
That's that's easiest. The most.
My Woman from Tokyo, I love Deep Purple. The Deep Purple to me, Chuck Berry is a godfather of the type of guitar rock. And Chuck Berry started that. And they've been so many hard rock bands, that's why I call it hard rock, have covered Chuck Berry songs, REO Speedwagon. I mean, you look at Foghat. Chuck Berry is the grandpa, the granddaddy of rock and roll, hard rock and roll, guitar rock. Ted Nugent done Maybelline.
He was before B.B. King, though, right? He was more of the guitar god, B.B. King was, but Chuck Berry was a great guitarist. But B.B. King, who was first, B.B. King or Chuck Berry?
I'm not for sure. They probably come out probably pretty close to probably the same time. But BB was more on the blues end, where Chuck Berry was, more mainstream rock and roll at that time in the 50s. With Little Queenie, Go Little Queenie. What was some of the other Sweet Maybellines?
Didn't you do a Christmas song?
Run Rudolph. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just tip of the iceberg of the songs he had. But he's a grandpa to me. Of course, Elvis, but Chuck Berry right there.
Who was first?
Huh?
Elvis was before Chuck, right? Or was he?
Again, I think they come on the scene similar around the same time.
Really?
Probably around, I'm going to guess 53, 52. I'm not for sure. But, Elvis might have had a year or two on him. I'm not for sure, but pretty close, same time.
Another thing, let's just ask this question just to get a response. How many? Let's see. You can probably see some back behind me. There's right here. There's a stack of records. Obviously this one, but there's 2, 3 more stacks over here. He's got 6 towers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 towers of records, VHSs, and CDs. No telling. That's CDs, and then like a bunch of VHSs, and there's no telling how many cassettes.
Probably around
8 tracks.
2,000, 2,500 cassettes.
How many?
Between 2,000 to 2,500, I'd guess.
Cassettes?
Mm-hmm.
So you have like extreme amounts.
That might be a little deep, but yeah.
I thought it was like 800.
Cassettes?
Yeah.
No, I got more than that. No.
Got them in boxes too.
Yeah.
Way too many. I wouldn't say that.
No.
I don't know how many. I mean, it's way too many. But
never enough.
Never enough.
I'd like to have more.
sure you can get on Amazon or something. And
I like to go to old, flea markets, places that have old used stuff like that. Find gems. Looking for it's part of the fun.
well, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off. Last question I was gonna ask you is, give me the top 3 bands at this point in time that you haven't seen that you'd like to see, and then who would you like to see again?
Okay.
So first, the 3 bands that you haven't seen that you can see that are still touring together and still playing. The 3 bands you would like to see, and then who would you like to see again?
Well, I like to see Clutch. I've never seen Clutch. I like them. I like to see Styx before they hang it up because I'm sure they're not that far from folding her up. And I know it ain't going to happen, but I would love to see Deep Purple. But I don't even know if they're still touring, so who knows? That's the 3 I would love to see.
Who would you like to see again?
Jackal. I wouldn't care to see Nugent again. Jackal, Blackberry Smoke.
I can't believe you didn't say Judas Priest as a band you'd like to see.
I've never seen them the first time.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I don't think it's going to be possible. There are too many other bands. That down the road, I might, Clutch plays over at Manchester Music Hall, so it could be possible we could catch their show.
Yeah. All right, gang. It's been Patrick Kirby here, my dad, Ricky. This is That's My Lingo, and he definitely spoke it here tonight. He's definitely on my lingo.
Yeah.
Y'all take care.